Hi, I'm Rigger, this is You Alright, and we're going to continue watching Avatar. So, before we start, of course, YouTube things, ding, there they are, like, share, comment, subscribe, all those things. We will continue down this path because I am really enjoying this show. It's one of those things where, I don't have time to binge it through all the time, but I do really enjoy returning, consistently to keep these episodes rolling, and it's gone above and beyond for quality of what I was expecting, especially early on. So let's see if they continue it. See you on the other side. Alright, and that was the Winter Solstice Part 1, the Spirit World. That was interesting. I guess the best way to handle it would be, I'll just do a quick plot rundown and then we'll discuss. Plot rundown's pretty simple. Flying over the land, the gang had come across some scarred land where everything was burned away. Looks like Fire Nation work, because everything's charred to dust in a forest. And we go through, do a simple lesson about, some things will grow back, and, they find a little acorn. One day this will be a great tree, and it's not gone forever. Which, as someone who lives in Australia and we have, a big, culture's the wrong word, but a lot of history around bushfire and fire, and it being necessary in certain times and places, and having certain plants that actually need fire, and, but also how dangerous it can be. That hit home a little bit, and it was quite cool. But anyway, so they then progress further, and Aang is having issues that he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know how to be the Avatar, and there's no one to tell him, and he's having a crisis about it. And he feels like, it's the Avatar's job to help protect nature, and he obviously hasn't done that here, even though he had no way of knowing this would happen. But they come across, a man finds them, very randomly, says he saw Appa. He knows all about avatars. He knew what Appa was and everything. So, and I will say, I'll cover it in a second. Anyway, so they say that they are from a village nearby. He's from a village nearby. They're having an issue. They're being attacked by a spirit every night. And this excited me because I wanted to see spirit stuff. That's pretty interesting and cool. They go to the village, and there is a spirit there, but Aang has no idea how to deal with it. It attacks. It's pretty scary, and they can't seem to do much about it. Sokka jumps in to help, and he is kidnapped by the spirit. Aang gives chase, and ends up being taken to the spirit world on accident. While there, he is confronted by a dragon that it turns out belonged to the previous Avatar, Roku. It takes him to a temple, saying that he will be able to speak to Roku, basically passes on that he will be able to speak to Roku on the solstice there, which is upcoming. It is the next day, actually. The day after the next day. So, then Aang returns to the real world and manages to teach the same lesson to the spirit that it turns out was the spirit of that forest that was destroyed, and teaches it that it will be reborn eventually. And the spirit calms down, leaves, and returns their friends. There's also a B-plot here where General Iroh is bathing and relaxing, and he's left alone to do so and falls asleep. And when he wakes up, he is captured by some earthbenders who hold a grudge against him because of his history. Obviously, against the Fire Nation in general as well. They kidnap him. On the road, he is quite crafty and tries to leave a trail for Zuko to follow, as well as escape. And he does a few small things to try and escape, eventually pulls a big escape attempt. They capture him, he's unsuccessful, but Zuko shows up in the nick of time and saves him, and that's pretty much it, and we get a cool fight scene. So that's all your plot. Now I'm just going to go to my notes and talk about things. First off, the acting and the script around the people in the village and how easily they come to him like, oh, I know what the Avatar is, I know what Appa is, I know what that means, what they said is true, come back to my village, we have an issue, please solve it for us. It was so straightforward and blandly written. The dialogue and the acting was not great on both of the people we hear from the village. And I thought it was a trap. I thought they were trapping him. I thought this is an act. This is a trap. Come help us, Avatar. But no, it was legit. I think it was just a little weak there. And the rest of the episode's pretty great. And I like a lot of the action. The animation came through, and it's very interesting. I think they just didn't put the effort in on the people from the village. I want to keep saying the village people, but that gives the wrong image. But they were really weak. But outside of that, it's funny. even though we saw the dragon and everything, I still think Momo is important because twice this episode they did the thing where Aang goes, I still have no idea how to talk to Roku, and then Momo jumps on his lap. And then later in the episode, the exact same thing happened, where whatever he says, I don't know what to do about the spirit world. Oh well, I'm sure whatever I have to do will come to me. And right as he says that, Momo jumps in again and jumps to it, literally comes to him. So I'm still suspicious that there's something about Momo, even though I've seen a dragon now. I actually went back and forth about this. Is Momo the dragon? I think Momo might be the dragon, because I keep thinking about it, and he runs out with Sokka when Sokka goes to help Aang, and then he vanishes, and we don't see him again until the end, I don't think. Yeah, in fact, I'm almost certain. Actually, that's my bet. Momo's the dragon, because he left the building with Sokka, vanishes, and is completely off-screen and gone, and then when Aang returns back to the village, he lands, and Momo just flies in out of nowhere onto his shoulder. But Momo was not around Katara and them while they were hanging out. So, yeah, my guess is Momo is the dragon. Like, it's got like it's like possessing it, or it's like got a mortal form sort of thing. Yeah, that's my guess. He's suspiciously gone when the dragon is around, and suspiciously returns once he's back from the spirit world. So, yeah. Also, that was something cool. We learned that the dragon was Avatar Roku's, what did they say, animal guide? So does this imply that every single avatar has an animal companion, and I guess depending on your nation, depends what it is, so the Airbenders get flying buffaloes and stuff, whereas the Fire Nation get dragons, which I love Appa, but dragons are awesome. I really like diving into spirit world stuff because, as much as bending is, otherworldly, it's nothing we have in reality. Actually going into spiritualism and spirits, like I knew that was a part of the show in general, but I didn't know to what extent, and I really like diving into that. It's really cool. And, it definitely adds an otherworldly element more than just the bending. The General Iroh stuff, I wrote that him relaxing in that hot spring was a mood. But also, they mentioned Ba Sing Se. Now, I know that name. I'm wondering if it's just because I know the movie and they've mentioned it there, maybe. But I know that name. Like, it sticks out in my head, Ba Sing Se, for whatever reason. And they talked about, I do like learning Iroh's history, there was a siege there and he acknowledges his defeat, but of course throws in that it's because he was tired. And they weren't successful in the siege. And I do like the threatening nature of the Earthbenders from there. That, clearly they're not going to roll over Fire Nation, and they seem, when you see it from, General Iroh is someone we sort of like, when you see it from his perspective, it's like, oh, be nice to him, but then you remember, no, he, the Fire Nation's done horrible things, and he was part of that, and, just because they seem threatening and mean, but they have every reason to be threatening and mean, it's just when you see it from the flipped perspective, and that's a cool thing to put in the show, like, yeah, when you flip these perspectives, you can see why, the Earthbenders are a threat as well. So I really liked a lot of these elements. I liked the way they did the spirits. I was cool with the glowing blue, and I also liked, the raging panda spirit doesn't look like an animal at all, but when it calmed, it returned. I also wanted to say I gave big props to Sokka this episode, because he had, the funny line again where it's like, I'm sure whatever I need will come to me, and he goes, yep, we're all gonna get eaten by a spirit. Like, but immediately cut to Aang trying his best, and Sokka's at the window going, this is wrong. He's out there alone. We need to go help him. Like, yeah, he joked that they're all gonna die, and then immediately when he sees Aang in trouble, or even about to be in possible trouble, wants to be out there and helping him. And he runs out to help. And, it's comically useless. He throws his weapon at it and just bounces off it, and nothing happens, and he gets kidnapped. And you could say that was maybe, not for the best, but I love his attitude and his loyalty. The one who I thought gave up really quick was Katara. She didn't give much of a chase and then sat around waiting, and I did feel her emotion when he was gone. She felt really sad, it's still her brother, no matter how much they bicker. And she has a strong connection to Aang now, and she was very sad. I just think that her chase wasn't that committed, but we'll move past that. I just have another note. Yeah, the village dialogue is really weak. I do like Iroh's Dragon of the West nickname. That's really cool. I did also like the moment of Zuko having to pick between following Appa and rescuing Iroh, and they don't, it's not actually clear which one he will pick, but he does pick Iroh. And I think that, that's really interesting to see. Like, It means, the beginning of the episode had them bickering, stop bathing so long and hurry up, we've got stuff to do. But he does go for Iroh, and I do love Iroh's craftiness, like, acting dumb to leave behind his sandal so Zuko could follow them, and his trick to get everyone to stop so he could try his escape attempt. He's a very crafty man, and it definitely comes through. And his calm approach, you can tell he's thinking. So that was really cool. Also, we have our setup. Yeah, they have to go to this temple to see Roku, but that temple's in the Fire Nation, dun dun, and then we got to get there tomorrow, dun dun. So, good setup. I do also wonder why they couldn't, if they have to go to the Fire Nation, which is dangerous, and he needs to speak to Roku, and the dragon can take him straight there, if they could just recreate going into the spirit world again, and the dragon could just take him there safely, and he could speak to Roku spirit to spirit, and all of this trouble would be avoided. Like, it feels like we just did it once, now you're brought back. We gotta do it again tomorrow. But we have to go for real? We'll just go again with the dragon. Weird. But I do really like, what I really want to know, Iroh can see the spirit world. Or he did. He saw the dragon and Aang. So, really, really cool. I want to know why, and I can't wait to find out why. Please tell me we find out why, because it's really cool. Please don't retcon it or something, because you just wanted to... I don't know, it seems very important, and I want to know why. Because Iroh's great, and the spirit world's interesting, and those two things are overlapping now, so that's really cool. I'm hoping that even when we get the weaker parts of these episodes, that it remains, the rest of the plot's as interesting. Like I said, the setup was so weak, and the writing for the people in the village was so weak that I thought it was a trap and fake. But it wasn't. It was just really, really cardboard thin to set up some really cool stuff, and I really liked the rest of it. So I was very like, is this going to be just Monster of the Week? Is it just, oh, here's the problem for this week, we help at this village? But we tied it in with some much cooler stuff. So yeah, overall, I wouldn't say the whole episode is strong because of the weaknesses I mentioned, but I really like we're getting into Spirit World stuff. I really like the visuals. The fight with Iroh and Zuko versus the Earthbenders was really cool. I really liked getting some history on Iroh. I liked seeing Zuko have to make a choice. We're getting some interesting stuff with the avatars and like I said, the Spirit World and all that. So, and we have a strong hook for next episode. No mention of Katara's necklace, but I'm hoping it still comes back later. But we'll see. Oh, and I wanted to throw in that I like the armored chocobos. That's pretty cool. Just a fun thing. I know that the animals in this are pretty interesting, so that's really cool. Oh, and we did little signs in the very beginning of the episode where they said, oh, clouds look like they're, fluffy, almost, pillows sort of thing. You could lay on one. And Aang jumps off Appa and flies through one and comes back and turns out they're made of water. I want to bring that back. Can Katara, while in mid-air, throw a cloud at somebody and use all the water vapor to, turn it into water bending or something? That'd be dope. Anyway, just thinking out loud. But until next time, remember, you may be pretty good at this, but you're no match for my blue eyes, Yugi. But, my name is Rigger. Hope you have a wonderful day. And I hope I did alright.